Hello and welcome to Old Ways Gardening and Prepping. My name is Teresa. I'd like to welcome you to my backyard this beautiful sunny day. And today I am harvesting Lyre Leaf Sage leaves so that I can dehydrate them this evening. Always pick responsibly. Harvest maybe, if it's a big plant, 3 to 5 leaves. If it's a smaller plant, 2 to 3 maybe. Just do not deplete the plant when harvesting. It needs the leaves so that it can continue to grow. Now I'll find an example of one fixing to bloom. Here is a beautiful example of one fixing to bloom. They are absolutely beautiful medicinal plants. If you've watched my video about how to make Lyre Leaf Sage tincture, I will have all my information, the medicinal information, listed below in the description box. Let's see if we can find some more. Here is another beautiful example of Lyre Leaf Sage fixing to bloom. You can see the bloom stalk it sends up, and it makes a beautiful flower. And like I said before, pick responsibly, especially if they're blooming. Only harvest up to maybe 3 leaves, because you want the plant to have enough energy so that it can flower and make seeds so that they can continue to propagate in your yard. Me personally, I'd rather have them and other medicinal plants in my yard than I would grass. I am not a big fan of grass, and I prefer to have plants that are actually beneficial. As soon as I get ready to put them in the dehydrator, I will bring you back and we'll talk more. See you soon. Okay, I am finished harvesting my Lyre Leaf Sage, and now I'm going to put it into my dehydrators. Now these are Air Force dehydrators, which I prefer them a whole lot better compared to the old Ronco that just used heat that rose. These actually dry a whole lot better. I have a Presto Dehydro, and I have a American Harvest one. So I'm going to get busy starting to load these dehydrators. Now, of course, I've made sure that my leaves are good and clean, and also there's no bugs. I do not want any crispy critters. And other people will appreciate it when there's no dehydrated bugs in their tea mix. And since these leaves are a little bigger, that's why I waited to put them in these dehydrators. There we go. And you want to make sure, well, in mine, unless you have one of the big square dehydrators, you want to make sure that the center section stays clear so the air can flow through, and along the sides as well. You just have to play leaf Jenga. That or leaf Tetris, one of the either. And with the airflow, I do tend to stack them a little bit, but they will dry. I haven't had any problem with it before. And if you don't want to dehydrate it, you can also hang it to dry as long as you have a place where it'll be safe and out of the weather where it can dry. Here it's been too rainy and moist and not warm enough. There's no chance I'm going to hang anything to try to dry. And these are some beautiful, beautiful leaves. And I also found today while I was harvesting that the leaves get even bigger when they're in the shade. Because I have some put away back in a different herb garden that I've replanted them. And it's shadier there. And the leaves got a whole lot bigger. And they're fixing to bloom even. They're fixing to bloom faster as well. Now they do tend to bruise. Don't worry about that. Your leaves are still good. Okay, we're going to top that one off. And that one's ready to go. And then we'll start on the American Harvest one, which I really love this dehydrator. And then we got the Presto, and I found out the Presto was even better. But I love the forced air one. They dry a whole lot faster and more thorough. Most of the Ronco ones I have picked up from either yard sales or thrift stores. You can usually find good dehydrators at times at thrift stores. But here lately, since people are starting to wake up and realize it's time to start prepping and putting things back, it's getting harder to find them. But you can find them as long as you stay positive. You just have to make sure that where your air comes through is not blocked. And that your trays do match like they're supposed to. And I'm going to let these dry overnight. And they should be ready in the morning because they're not really, they don't have a whole lot of moisture in them. I picked 2 big bowls of them and still really didn't make a dent. So it means I can go back and harvest even more. Because I want to put back a lot of Lyre Leaf Sage for the winter months to come. Because it's going to be wonderful in herbal tea mixes for colds, flus, bronchitis, so much more. If you watched my video about making lyre leaf tincture and all the information that was below it, I'll have that same information below this video if you read the description box. I know it looks like I'm packing it really thick, but it will dry. It'll do fine. It will dry. Yep. Oh, there's still so much more. And of course, now another thing about Lyre Leaf Sage too is if you have to go in and mow your yard, you can mow over it. It'll just keep growing. It will. Okay, and that was 2 big bowls full. Now, of course, for safety reasons, I always plug my dehydrators into a surge protector. That way, in case something happens with the dehydrators and they act up, it will automatically cut them off. And also, if we have a power surge, it'll also automatically cut off the dehydrators. Now, I'm going to let them dehydrate overnight, and I'll check them in the morning, and then I'll show you how I store them. I'll see you in the morning. Hello, and welcome back to the next day. The Lyre Leaf Sage is dry. Now, it can go either way. Sometimes they'll dry real bright green. Sometimes they'll dry darker. It depends on how much of the red pigment they have in them. And it looks like this time they're all going to dry darker, which is fine. Doesn't mean anything's wrong with them. They just dry and means they're still full of medicine. Now what I have done is I've unplugged my dehydrators, let them completely cool down so that they could acclimate, and now it's time to take them out of the dehydrators. And they are definitely dry. They really, really shrank up too. Now, if you do any dehydrating, you're going to want to make sure that after each batch that you dehydrate, that you wash your trays really good, and the bottom of your, and the upper part of your dehydrator. This is what I'm saying. They can dry really, really dark, or they can dry really bright green. Both of them the same plant, just different ways that it dehydrates. Doesn't mean anything's wrong with them. They're still good to use. I have to crunch them up a little bit so I can get the rest of them in there. I'm happy with this amount. It's wonderful. This is going to be a really good start to a huge stockpile. Like I said, you're going to need to clean the top parts of your dehydrators and your trays before you use them again. And you don't want to leave any of the plant material behind that you possibly can. Because I'm a firm believer in waste not, want not. Okay. It's going to make some wonderful medicinal teas this winter to heal people with. Now, another thing I forgot to mention about Lyre Leaf Sage is, since it is in the mint family as well, it will have a very slight mint taste as well. This I will use to make medicinal tea mixes for colds, flus, the virus, bronchitis, many different ways to use this. And the best part is there's no chemicals involved, no big medicine, no nothing. It's all natural. All natural, just like our ancestors used to use. And people wonder why the ancestors lived so long. Because they didn't have all these chemicals, all these poisons back then. And they sure didn't have all the diseases and the cancer that we do now. It's all because of chemicals and poison, even in our foods. People have to wise up and start taking care of themselves and choosing healthier foods and growing your own and being self-sustainable. You have to be self-sufficient. It's the only way to go anymore. Now see, I almost have a whole gallon bag of the Lyre Leaf Sage, which makes me extremely happy. Because I will jar this up when I get home, put a moisture absorber in it, and then I will, when I get the jar completely full, then I'll vacuum seal it, and that way no moisture, no air will be able to get inside of it. Now see how simple and easy that was? Anybody can make their own medicine. Anybody can make the choices to be healthier, to live longer, and be happier. I hope you find this video informative. Please click like and subscribe so you can come along on the adventure with me and learn more about being self-sufficient and healing yourself and keeping big medicine out of your body and out of your life. Please click the bell notification so that you'll be notified when I upload another video. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care and be blessed. And I'll see you in my next video.